Everyone. My name is Garrett Johnson. I'm the U.S. Country Manager here at LifeWave. It is my pleasure and my opportunity to be able to spend today with you, to be able to to go through our LifeWave Connect business webinar for the month of March. It is an absolute pleasure to be able to spend some time with you today, to be able to talk about, I think, a very important topic, but also making sure that we're continually feeding into and training each of you as our amazing brand partners, and coming to us from all over the world. And so we are so excited to be able to share this information with you today. And we have a couple of amazing people who are going to be able to help us as we go through this today. And so I'm going to, without wasting more time, in fact, I would love if we could just maybe have you type into the chat as well, so we can see where everyone is calling in from, because we do know that we're predominantly European languages this morning, but this evening, of course, will be Asia. But love seeing where everyone's coming in from. And so perfect. Love coming from all over the world, really. Canada, the US, Arizona, Switzerland, love it. So anyway, so we're so excited that you're here, and certainly expect that you're going to be able to get a lot of nuggets out of this training today. So what I would recommend is each of you to make sure you have a pen and paper, so that you can go, as we go through this information, you're going to want to capture some of the details. And so take advantage of it and learn as much as you can. I guarantee you're going to come up with some pretty amazing things. So to start us off, though, I want to introduce our speakers today who are going to help me go through this amazing topic. First of all, I want to introduce Richard Finnegan. He's a professional performance and wellness coach and has 15 years experience in direct sales. Now, I also want to, last but not least, introduce Mia Finnegan. She's a wife and a mother of three, fitness pioneer, certified fitness trainer, 4-time fitness title holder, and catch this, world champion. Loves to share fitness, nutrition, family, and faith. I think that kind of fits perfectly within our LifeWave family. And of course, building an online business. She's a veteran of direct sales, just as Richard has, 14 years experience, and continues to, and their focus is to make sure that the focus around your health is your wealth. And I love that concept. And if that's not enough, these two have also helped bring forward 20 different fitness products over their time. And so they certainly have an amazing background in fitness, but also in network marketing. So I'd love to welcome everyone to meet and a chance to meet some of our newest SPDs, Richard and Mia Finnegan. Richard, Mia, we're so grateful that you're on with us today.
Well, thank you so much. First of all, Garrett, thank you so much for having us. We honestly feel honored to be able to share and hope we can really feed the entire LifeWave family.
Yeah, we feel really fortunate to be here, blessed to just serve, and like you mentioned, some of the years of experience. Just, that's always an up and down in life. Things happen and we learn from every up and we learn from every down. And so we're really excited to run through the questions we reviewed with you yesterday. And we know that it's going to provide a lot of information for folks to move forward. And I take your reminder, I'll slow down for the interpreters. I know we're in many, many languages right now. So we're just blessed to be here and look forward to running through and sharing some of our experience.
Yeah, and you just made some great friends with all of our interpreters by making that comment. Well, we certainly, as we take a look at what we're going to be talking about today, which is handling objections and rejection, I think, as we look into that topic, it is something that is a very important to understand what that is and how to deal with that in network marketing is really the difference of being succeeding or not. And so, but before we jump into all those questions, I'd love it if you'd take a moment just to kind of share with us about who you are, your LifeWave story, but some of your background as well.
You want to go first?
You can go first.
Background in the wellness space for over 30 years, super passionate about health and wellness. And, really impacting people's lives and try and change their lives for the better. We both are athletes. I coached Mia through all her endeavors and championships, and we do have a few professional athletes. Actually, we look forward to expanding into Finland, Mexico, and Japan because we have athletes who are there playing professional basketball. And so that's kind of been the journey. You know, personally from a health and wellness, we were introduced to our good friend Andy, who had some difficulty with his shoulder. He shared his story, and just like many of us, we were super skeptical to believe that this could do what we were hearing about. But so we did a deep dive into the science. I have a physiology background, and did the deep dive on the science, and that really woke us up. And personally, for me, 62-year-old male with an artificial right knee and an artificial left hip and 2 artificial discs. And so I know a little bit about joint pain and to be able to experience relief and activity, improved activity has been really a godsend in improving, you know, from a mental clarity, from a sleep standpoint, and just overall just functioning I feel like I'm functioning and performing at a younger age. And this has been just a true blessing. So it makes it super easy to share. And that's some of what we'll talk about is our belief leads to the action to move forward. So that's really in a nutshell, having great experience personally with the patches. And so we just love sharing it. And we know we're just getting started sharing this all around the world. So Mia, please.
Yeah, I mean, I think you just said it in a nutshell. And, you know, we love health and fitness. We love, to take care of people. And we say your health is your wealth. If you don't have your health, you have nothing, because I don't care how much money you make. If you do not have your health, you can't buy yourself out of bad health. So that has always been our love, to be able to share health and wellness with people. And this is just the easiest way we have ever shared it. Now, we've done everything in the fitness industry, you name it. And this has just been the easiest way for us to share health and wellness.
And I just want to add one other thing. It's our personal belief. It's our personal belief, just being in the wellness space for so many years, health, wellness, nutrition, exercise, disease prevention. Personally, we feel this is the biggest wellness breakthrough that we've seen. We know we can affect nutrition and hydration and exercise and sleep in many ways, but to deal with the cellular activity that we're creating with this, I just feel it's the biggest. And that's just our personal belief. And I know many people would agree, but I'll just speak on a personal level. This is a wellness breakthrough that we're super fortunate to be able to share and bring to the market for sure.
Love that. And seeing what you've been able to do in a short period of time, taking that experience that you have, and both in the wellness arena as well as the the network marketing arena, and being able to bring those together, and then taking a simple patch, that you put on your body, it creates this what they call photobiomodulation. Again, those are some big words that I learned since being here. It makes me look smart, I hope. That's what I say it, but then it creates a positive chemical reaction in the body. I mean, what are the chances that like I had never heard of anything like that before coming here, and then understanding the importance of the body being light, and how do we use that light to help us heal ourselves. We already know the body is an amazing miracle in healing itself on its own, but how do we help that and using light to do it? Again, nothing I had ever heard of before, but wow, what an amazing thing it's been and what it's doing around the world. And I think really we're just scratching the surface on what this technology is really all about. So thank you for sharing that. And I love, I think you're, having that experience and that knowledge, understanding it really does help us to understand the importance of what the topic really is today. And that is that handling objections and rejection. And we're all going to be given a lot of objections. We're all going to feel rejection at times, but let's just jump in, and we'll talk. I have some, kind of questions we want to dig into, but certainly feel free to expand as much or as little as you need to, within these, because I think, understanding where your experience comes from is really going to help us. You're going to be able to give us a lot of great knowledge. So how do you typically handle objections from a potential customer recruit, with regards to network marketing?
Can I start?
Yeah, you start. Yeah.
Yeah, we were thinking about this. it really comes down, it starts with our personal belief, with our personal belief in our why. And when we have our why in place and we know we want to do this for whatever reason, family, for health, for the financial security, for the freedoms that we're trying to achieve, or personal freedom from I don't want to say illness, but from just discomfort and lack of wellness. It makes it real easy. And then you take on top of that is the belief in the company and the product and what we have. And that's what we really, really emphasize. Shout out to all our teammates right here. I see our good friends, the Varvels, on here who we introduced it to. And, that's how we're moving it through from a team and raising that belief level. Because when we have a high belief level and when our why is strong enough and well-defined, the objections you're talking about, they really diminish. And we're going to talk about that process that we go through. If I have such belief, which we have incredible belief with this, all we know that we're going to do is guide people through the process. So it really starts with that. I think that's a critical first step to belief in the company, belief in the product. And if you don't have that yet, then go ahead and do the research you need to do and create the testimonials that you need to. And then you're going to move with strength and it'll be, you'll be bulletproof. So
Yep.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, and I'm going to just share something just real quick in regards to the positivity behind like direct sales, because there's sometimes it's like network marketing, what is it? But to me, it's super positive. Like, why? Because we're all network marketers naturally. Like, I share a good book, a movie, like a great place that I've been on vacation, and it's a word of mouth business. For all of our years, and Rich always says 30 plus, 35 and 38 years in the fitness industry. I'm 57, he's 62. We have never advertised for our personal training business ever in our entire career, because we get results and then people refer people. And that's what this business is. People put this patch on, whatever patch you use, X39 to Ice Wave to whatever, it doesn't matter. They work. And people are going to tell people because of that, and they're going to tell people, and so on and so on. So again, it's that word of mouth business. It's a multi-billion-dollar industry, right? Worldwide. Everybody's looking for a gig like the gig economy. And we know that universities around the world like teach network marketing. And, for me, like one last positive thing about network marketing is that we build part-time, you can do part-time hours and earn full-time income. So there's so many positives behind it. So that's, yeah. And I know I speak too fast, but she's telling me I need to slow down. I'm sorry.
We want to be friendly with the interpreters.
Yeah. So anyway, I'm going to go ahead.
But yeah, no, that's a great place. That's a great place to start too, is we have to understand the benefit of network marketing. And we were in the trade time for money business for years, successfully in the fitness, wellness, and gym ownership space, et cetera, corporate world, et cetera. And I think that one point before we move forward is people just don't understand the flow of money within the direct sales industry. And for some folks who don't have the experience, this hopefully will provide a little light. Traditional businesses spend a large 10, 20, 30, 40, 50% of their marketing budget on TV ads, newspaper ads, billboards, all those type of things. Yeah. In a direct sales industry, and we didn't learn this until 15 years ago, but in the direct sales industry, it gets funneled back to the distributor base. And that's what makes it such an incredible opportunity.
We're the marketing.
Really the incredible opportunity that we've seen. We're in traditional businesses for years, and then this has been I believe it's the best marketing and distribution plan, because again, it's about the word of mouth success. So that's just a little foundation. When we talk about objections, laying the foundation with an understanding of what network marketing can do and provide for people, and really how it works and why it's such a great opportunity is a good place to start before we move into some of the objections. I hope that makes sense.
I love that. And I really think when it comes to understanding network marketing and the beauty behind it, and, if you were to ask Coca-Cola or Apple or some of the biggest brands that are out there what the most valuable form of advertising they could possibly get, and it's word of mouth. It's word of mouth advertising. It's when things start to trend and people start sharing and they start getting that information out there, and they don't have to pay a penny for it. Now, of course, with network marketing, we also use the word of mouth advertising. But for those that actually do share it, they actually do make some money by sharing it. And so I think that's the beauty of, and Rich, I agree with you. I think it is one of the best ways to get a product to market, because it allows us to be able to get it done in a way. Having a patch on a shelf that talks about the importance of phototherapy may or may not ever make it to someone's attention, But when we're getting to people and we're sharing it and we're saying, hey, this is what it's done for me, man, everything changes. And like you say, it's no different than sharing your favorite restaurant or your favorite, movie or whatever it is. It's all part of what we do naturally anyway. So I love that concept. Now, so maybe give us an example of where you maybe received a challenging objection that you faced, and kind of how you successfully overcame it.
Yeah, sure. Well, and I'll share first because, people say, after they've been on maybe the patch for a couple of days, they're like, this is just a placebo. And I say, okay, that's fine. You can believe that, but let me show you what I know. So I'm going to kind of bring up what I call my shield of confidence. So because what we tell people is, this is not a placebo. Okay. I'm going to go to here, but there. So if somebody gives you a question like, yeah, this is a placebo, well, take that question and say, you know what? That's great. That's great that you believe that, but let me show you what I found. So we call it feel, felt, and found. So I know how you feel. Like I felt the same way. The first day I put it on 6 hours, my brain felt like I was like sharp and clear, like I had Windex for my brain. But let me show you what I found. Do you know anything about David Schmidt and the founder and inventor of our this patch? So I stopped there and listened for their answer. No, I really don't. Okay, listen, I'm going to send you to my website and I want you to do a little deep dive on that. I want you to know who he is, where he's been. This company is a 20-year-old company. Then I'll say, have you seen any of the patents or the clinical research? And they'll say, you know what? No, I haven't. So what I do is I usually choose 2 of these shield of confidence. Now, if anybody's out there and they want to take a screenshot of this is something we've used for years and years in our business because there's ways around. Like I just shared my story. I shared David Schmidt. I shared the 80 clinical studies. I can also say, listen, just continue to use it for 30 days. And if you don't feel like I do, remember, there's a 90-day money-back guarantee for customers. There's a 30-day money. So if you don't feel as good as I do, you can return and get your full money back. So that is how we just kind of pop around those.
Yep.
Okay?
No, it is simple, straightforward, and duplicatable.
And duplicatable. Yeah. Yeah. So I'm going to stop share there.
No, I love that. And when we were talking about that before, yesterday, as we're kind of going through and kind of prepping for this webinar, and you kind of mentioned that, I really think there is a lot of power in being able to have those tools at hand. I love how you tell your story. The Windex for your brain. There's just little things that is going to catch people's attention, right? And understanding how to tell a great story is important. But then, talking about how we're backed by science and clinical studies. We're backed by patents. We're backed by David Schmidt. And of course, we put our money where our mouth is. If you don't get the benefit within, for a customer in 90 days, you can return your patches. So I love that it puts it in perspective that we're not just a fly by night. We're not just something that's coming through and hoping to sell a few patches before it all comes crumbling down. We're here. We're going to be here. We're going to be here for a long time. And that really does show it when we're showing them kind of that shield of confidence. So I love that concept of being able to kind of help people see and what we're really all about.
Yeah.
Yep.
So what are some strategies that you employ to preemptively address some objections in the way that you present? Because obviously we know some objections are going to come through anyway. How do you prepare for them?
You want to go
if you want to go to the slide, as she's going to the slide, I'll say, part of it is just you're going to take people through the process. And then if you have objection after objection after objection with an individual, we have to at some point love them where they are. Because there's millions of people out there, and some people just maybe had an experience, or they had a bad experience before, or they didn't earn with a different company, or whatever it may be. And so, love them, take them through a few steps, and then we have to just understand that, okay, maybe this isn't the right fit for them for whatever reason. But Mia has it laid out here a little bit how we can address those objections. And then we'll talk about ratios, but some people, it's just not going to be for them, and we have to accept that. But this precedes that.
So these are kind of some of the negative things that people talk about in, network marketing. So, you can screenshot that if you want, but we always say, find agreement because there's going to be a point that you can find agreement with them. So what do we agree on? We agree that you're in bad health right now. We agree that you have this ailment, or you have this, discomfort.
Or
Okay,
financial need.
or financial need. So we find agreement. Then we say, listen, and this is when I say, go to the website or whatever. And I'm going to go over here now, because one of the things that we use, and we use it a lot, is when there's, again, people just don't know. They don't know what they don't know. So if they're saying no, it's because they don't know. And sometimes it's just not the right time for them either. So, but we use the app where we can say, hey, listen, let me share something with you that I think might speak to you, because I might have somebody who's super analytical, like my husband. He loves deep dive. He loves science. So I'm going to go into that app and I'm going to find the right link for them to be able to share, to soften them a little bit so they can understand where I'm coming from. Because a lot of people, this is very new. And as you know, people who have been involved a long time, they've had to deal with this, but we're just brand new in this. And we know this company is going to go through the roof because of the technology, but people don't understand it. That's one of the things. So having them understand, then you can have a conversation, find that agreement, and then you can move the ball down the field. So I hope that helps.
I love that. The concept of, and so I'll give you a little background on me. When I was younger, when I was 19 years old, I was a Mormon missionary. I went out and we're knocking on doors. And of course, that's kind of scary for a 19-year-old. And it's luckily a network marketing, although we can do it. I don't think most do. Knock on doors, go door to door, knock on doors. And one of the things they always taught us was, it's easy to be able to find out how we're different, but really focusing on building on common belief. We all have things that we see in common. Finding that agreement, like you talked about, really is important in helping them understand, that we're more alike than we're different, And so when they do have objections, we don't belittle them or disagree with them, but we just say, hey, maybe that's where you're coming from, but hey, let's look at where we are similar, or that we are the same, and how we can help you, because and that's something. There's a book written by a gentleman by the name of Alan Pease called "The Questions Are the Answer," and the thing I love about that is it's all about asking the right questions. And so the only way you know how to build on how to agree is by asking the questions to understand who they are, so that you can actually help answer their objections. So sometimes preemptively asking good questions helps you to kind of know, I can kind of see maybe some of the issues this person might actually have with, so we can kind of preemptively kind of take a look at that. And then when we do talk, we know we can start to build on where we know we are similar. And so, but yeah, good questions really do make a big difference. Now, we also, one of the things I love about network marketing is it's one of the best personal development programs ever. And it's because you have to deal with rejection. And so because of that, how do you maintain a positive attitude and motivation in the face of rejection as you're building your business?
I'd love to touch on this, because so much, and this is super critical for everyone, is just jot this down, is follow the process. We're all about step process. So I really don't feel, we don't feel rejection, because our number one goal is to guide them to the next step. When we really evaluated, if everyone here, has their own step process, but it comes down to some type of first step, some kind of communication, text, phone call, email, Instagram, social media, whatever it is. And then for most of us, and this is how we like to do it, and we believe this works, is some type of video or information. We need to move them to the video or information, and it might be a website, or it might be just one of the videos on the InTouch app.
I can put up the slides.
From that step, then we're going to follow up with them and find out what they know. Now, sometimes they don't. Sometimes they haven't even looked at it. We need to really have the conversation of, as far as like, what did you see? What did you like? And then, like you said, asking the questions. And from that, we can actually determine if they really watched it and what they know. And if they don't know, then we move them to another video. So we're not dealing with, because you can jot this down. You can take it off of the slides right now for me.
Okay,
It'd
sure.
be great. what we need to understand is we're not in the convincing business. We're in the sorting business. And all we are is we want to be excellent inviters and excellent pointers. Point them to the process, point them to the weekly meeting, point them to this Zoom, pointing to a team meeting, point them to a video training. So we're not feeling rejection. I'm just sorting and determining, okay, did they watch it and what do they know? Because if someone researched it and looked at it and saw the testimonials, it's undeniable.
Right.
And if someone sees those things and looks at the science and does the deep dive enough to look at David Schmidt and look at what these patches do and look at the history and look at the science behind it, if someone sees that and then they don't want to move forward, I'm going to love them where they are.
Yep.
And I'm going to keep them in. I'll recircle back in the future, but the timing may not be right for them. If they truly looked at it and read it and studied. Now, some people will tell you they did, but they didn't. And so that's where we're just trying to, like you said, you hit the nail on the head, Garrett, is asking the right questions. So the rejection isn't there. Again, if our belief is strong, the rejection isn't there. So I hope that answers the question, that all we want to do is we're guiding through process. I'm not the one that convinces them about it. They need to look at it and they need to get a patch on their body. When they get the patch on their body, that's doing all the work for us.
Yeah. And that's why I want to kind of just bring this up too. Like, where do you start like with that? Like when people say about rejection, it's like, there are billions of people in the world.
Yes.
Like people say, oh, I've run out of people to talk to. I'm like, really? Well, you look out your house, you got people here, you got people there. If they're breathing, you could probably help them. Okay. So, but making those lists of the people first that you want to, help first, the health issues of any type, right? Then who I love and respect and who love and respects me and who I have influence with and who, has influence with me and who do I want to do business with and life with. Okay. So once you get those people, then what Rich was saying, you ask those questions, like, what do you know? Like, you got to move them through, like Rich said, the process. The process is so important. Send them a link from the app, send them to your website, let them do a little bit more of a deep dive. Because if they look at one thing, somebody says, oh, I contacted them, they said no. I'm like, well, one time?
No,
like,
to what?
No to what? Like, so if they say they're not interested, my question is always, what are they not interested in? Because if they're not interested, I'm going to stop this for now. If they're not interested, like, I have to ask that question. So I have to like clear it. I'm saying, wait a minute, what are you not interested in? I just asked you to please watch this link that I'm going to send you. It's a 2-minute video. It's on phototherapy. I just would love you to watch it. I'm not asking you to do the business. I'm not asking you to even try a product. I'm literally just asking you to watch this and give me your honest feedback, because I'm super excited about it. I love the way I'm feeling and I want you to feel as good as I do. So there's no, if they say no, they just don't know enough. So keep feeding them. Rich always talks about throw them back in the river. Throw them back in the river, let them, absorb a little bit more, whether it's, the app, the website, do a deep dive, whatever it needs. And because like, don't, and this is my last thing, is do not tie anything to their no. Like one of the guys that we listen to, Ray Higdon, he says, go for 20 no's, right? Go for 20 no's. And then guess what? Maybe your 21st will be like the one that's like, yep, I'm so glad I went through 20 no's. Yep. All right. So don't worry about the no's. Just let them roll off your back like a duck, right? Water off a duck's back, my friend. Move on. There's millions of people that we need to talk to.
And we'll touch base on this a little more, but it does come down to the ratios. If we introduce it to, and you can use that slide. This is super important, really critical to know that we're not going to bat 1,000. We're not going to have we're not going to have 100% success. So think about this. Then your ratio, everyone's will be different. But imagine if you reach out to 30 people, okay? And managing your expectations is really, really critical, right? So in this example, reach out to 30 people. Maybe of those 30 we reach out to, we'll end up having conversations with 10. Of those 10, and this is probably a low batting average. We do believe this is low. Yeah. Product use maybe end up with 3 people, and then one of them maybe becomes a brand partner. Now, this is a low batting average. I believe yours is going to be much higher, especially when you follow the process. But going into it knowing, hey, I may need to speak to 30 people in one way or another, text, email, like all the other social, yeah, whatever it be.
Conversations.
I may need to speak to 30 to have one brand partner. When we have that in our mind, then we're focused, okay, if I want to build 2 brand partners, this is what we teach. Oh, it sounds like I need to speak to 30 people, right? Oh, if I want 3 brand partners, maybe I need to speak to 90. It will be less. But going into it with that understanding is really super helpful. Again, as you said, Garrett, how do you handle any rejection? Well, this is part of it because of our expectations. We know that it's going to take time for people to go through the process. So I hope that clarifies for everyone.
I love that. And I think, when you talk about, Rich, when you talked about, just follow the process, understanding what the process is, understanding the numbers, it's pushing and putting people into the funnel and working them through it. And if they need more information, I love it, throw them back into the river, and let them absorb a little bit more and bring them back. But what I love about that is it takes the emotion out of it, because so often we tie so much emotion to what people's responses are. And the reality is they're not rejecting us. They're not even rejecting David or the patches. They just don't have enough information, because I think if people really understood what we had to offer, most people would be interested. Yes. But we're never going to convince everyone. And I love, that's actually something that you also said, Rich, I think is super important, is that we're not in the convincing business. We don't have to convince anybody. We're in the sorting business. And so such great feedback. And I hope everyone's gaining, taking these great notes, because there's so much good information here. Okay. So because of that, I would love it if you could maybe share a little bit of a story about a time where maybe you did get, deal with some rejection, and, something that happened to you, or some kind of experience, and what you did and how you were able to persist through it, even though, it can be challenging sometimes.
Yeah. Do you want to go, or I'll go?
I'll go first.
You go first. Yeah.
We manage our funnel.
Yeah.
Everyone goes into the funnel, and we just manage through. So how do we just know it's numbers, that some people will, for whatever reason, they may just be, they didn't read it, they didn't look at it, they didn't have the time, they had a bad experience in the past. And so then what we do is we say, we move with the responders. We use the analogy of a train station or a boat dock. We're all getting ready to get on that train. And then you find the people who it got narrowed down to that 30, 20, 10, 5. We're on the train with those people. We're not staying on the side on the platform, running back for the people. At some point we have to say, hey, the train's leaving. We're going to move forward. You can meet us. Come on, meet us later on here. Go watch this video. Hey, we have an event. Hey, there's a live event. Keep plugging them in. And I think it just gives us a suit of armor when our mindset is right, that we know that I can't convince everyone to do this. I can't succeed with everybody. I hope that
No, that's great. And like you were talking about before, just ask the right questions. And sometimes it's just timing for people.
Yeah.
It's just not the right timing, because they'll give you an excuse of why, like, I got to talk to my husband, I have to talk to my wife, I've got a plate full of life. And so if I can delve in a little bit more with them and find out what's going on with the family, and we talk about forming them, and you probably have heard that expression, family, occupation, what's their recreation, then share the message with them. So if I can find out what's going on, because people, and you've heard this before, people don't care how much you know until they know how much you care about them. So if I can find out why they're saying no, and that's fine. If they say no, and they've said no to me 3 or more times, just write this down. If they've said no 3 or more times, I'm not wasting my time. Okay. That's okay. Move on to the next person.
Love them where they are.
Love them where they are, because they're going to just keep watching you anyway.
Yep.
They're just going to keep watching. And they're going to say, oh, geez, I wish I would have, got involved when you told me I should. But
especially
no matter what,
family members who
especially family. I love my family. We're both, I'm number 7 of 7 children. He's number 7 of 8. So we get it. It's all good. But they watch us, and it's all good. But, just to try to help them see what the possibilities could be for them, and love them where they are. One of our good friends in our business, John, he talks about love serves to give. Right? It's not lustful. Love serves to give. So if you know that you have this amazing patch you are giving this with love. You're sharing this with love. Like, so you can't discourage that.
Yeah.
Like, so if somebody says no, or it's just not the right timing, there's something in there, but we try to delve in a little bit, find out what it is, so we can move with the ones that say yes, and I'd love to try it, or whatever.
Yeah, and we know that there's critical steps within the funnel that we're really trying to lead people to. And we know we talk about something called the predictability index. Basically, we know if I take people through 4, 5, 6 steps, which includes looking at a website, watching a video, and maybe looking at a few slides in a webinar, I know that if we get them to that point, we have a much higher likelihood that they're going to engage in one way or another. So we want to make sure we get to those critical steps. And then your likelihood is going to be much, much greater. So again, I think to answer that question, it's just the realistic managing our expectations going into it, and know that I'm funnel focused. I'm managing and guiding people through the step process, like we spoke about yesterday. Chop wood, carry water. I'm sure some people have read that book. We've got to marry the process. That's what we've learned in Applied. And we already learned that from our fitness and wellness space of being in the transformation business. We've been in the before and after business for 30 plus years. And so we say the power of the testimonial is so key, which is basically a before and an after. And so we know to create that before and the after. In the wellness space, we need to guide through steps, whether it's nutrition, exercise, inventory, accountability, all those things. And we just learned it from that. Like, we're never surprised when someone doesn't succeed, because I can say, okay, well, what steps did you do to do this, to do this, to this? Oh, you didn't do that? Okay. It tells me the story right there. Yeah. So I'll end it with that. Yeah.
Exactly. It's like we used to say 5 to 7 touches, reach out with a message, have that conversation, have another, send them more, drip on them with the app with some links and stuff. And if I know if I get at least 5 touches, then the outcome is either going to be they're going to become a customer, or they're going to become a brand partner. Yeah. And if they don't do anything, my thing to them is I say, listen, I know the timing isn't right for you. They said full plate of life, kids are sick, whatever it is. Listen, I know you're not saying no to me. So would it be okay if I followed up in 3 months from now? Oh yeah, please do. Like, I'm sorry, I'm just so busy right now. No worries. I'm going to follow up in 3 months. So, but within those 3 months, I'm constantly sending them just another thing from the app. Hey, watch this. Hey, look at this. I want you to see this. Oh, this just came out. This just got launched. The eye cream.
This is the story that made me think of you.
So that was some of the stuff too that I put up on the slide deck here is, what makes you reach out to them? Like, tell them, I thought of you because fill in the blank, because of your knee discomfort, because of your shoulder, whatever it might be. I thought of you because you said you wanted to spend more time with family. So I hope that helps. I know I jumped around a little bit there, but we just know that it's timing for everybody. We have to and love on them.
Timing and engagement.
Yeah.
And I think, you said something a minute ago, and that was, love serves to give. And it really comes back to, it's the relationships, it's the people, and understanding who to talk to. And you said something again, a little bit, actually, I think for my last question, but that was, who do you want to do business with? And I actually think sometimes asking that question, who would you like to travel with? Because you don't want to travel with everybody. There's some people in your life you may not ever want to travel with. And so maybe those aren't the people you necessarily need in your business. But if you're looking to do some traveling, and as many of you already know, we have a trip coming up to Cancun, Mexico, for those who qualified. And both of you qualified. And so we're excited that you're going to be there, but you have team members that are also qualified that are also going to be there. These are the people that you want to travel with. These are the people you like doing business with, you actually generally like. And so finding who you want to do the business, it does come back to the importance of relationships, and how do we build those relationships? And I think sometimes in our opportunity to get to know a new person and try to start building that relationship, that there's different things we can do to help us to be able to kind of get to know them better. But maybe you could share some of the techniques that you use to build rapport and trust with your prospects, so that when it does come to objections, there are legitimate concerns or issues that you're bringing up rather than just trying to be dismissive, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Can I touch base
You
on
can
that?
touch base, yeah, sure.
Yeah, first of all, it's the relationship that you're building, right? And we, over years, but I think what stood out to me with this question, what's super critical is sometimes we don't speak to people for years. Sometimes we just don't. And how do we handle that to build the rapport instantly? Because this thing is moving super fast, right? So what we say, we use the term beat them to the punch, and we basically say, hey, there's something really important that I want to share with you that I think will help you, is a good word choice. Or, hey, there's something I need to touch base with you. Hey, something fell into my lap. Hey, I found something that really helped me with my knee. I want to touch base. I want to share with you, but let's catch up on life in general and then move forward instead of go have the chit chat conversation. And then at the end of the conversation, hey, by the way, I found this incredible LifeWave system in this patch that it's just not genuine. We always recommend. So to build that, the relationship is like, hey, you know what? I found something. Like some of my people, I have business relationships. I can just say, hey, I've got a business opportunity we need to talk about. It's as quick as that. Other people, it's a little less. It's more like, hey, what's going on?
Massaging.
But we always want to beat them to the punch. If we're going to have the conversation about business, we want to beat them to the punch and say, hey, I found something really good here, but let's catch up on life. Got a lot of stuff going on. How's the family, etc. I hope that makes sense. And Mia, please go ahead.
No, that's exactly. And just the way you said it, it's like, you just want to lay that out there first and just say, hey, listen, I know we haven't spoken in a long time. That's sometimes it's on a text. Sometimes it's a voice message because they can hear the passion in your voice too. I know we haven't spoken in a long time. I'm so sorry. Kind of life got in the way, but I have something I really want to share with you. But let's catch up on life. When do you have time? And I always ask them, like, do you have, time between 2 and 4 tomorrow, or, 3 and 5 on Friday? I give them some opportunity to look at those times and say, you know what? Yeah, I have some time. I'd like to, I said, all I need is like 10 minutes of your time. I just want to, reconnect really. And that might not even be business at that point. It's just reconnecting. And then they might at the end say, hey, listen, what is it that you want to share with me? So I'm not throwing it in like a bait and switch at the end that, oh, by the way, here, the reason why I'm actually even talking to you. No, it's absolutely not that, because you love, trust, and respect these people. That's why that list is who I love, trust, and respect, and who loves and trusts and respects me. And I wrote a text. I have to share this. I wrote a text to somebody that was probably maybe too long. And because she's a dear friend of mine from college, she was on the gymnastics team with me in college. She said, I don't even know what that said. She said, I'm just so happy to talk to you. Like, so you forget who you have that rapport with sometimes. You forget how much they love, trust, and respect you. Like she was like, I don't even care what that said. I'm just so happy to hear from you. Right. So just know that, people want to hear from people. Like the social media and all that is very unsocial. And to me, like people want to hear your voice. They want to hear from you personally. So.
And I think, so just to real quickly go back to where you said, who do you want to do life with? Like for us, inviting our friend Todd and Shannon, basically for us, it's like, okay, who do you want to jump off rocks with? Like Todd and I jump off every time we trip. We've been to Santorini, we've been to Croatia. There's a couple of, we find rocks to jump off. Or Todd loves his ATV, the four-wheelers. Some people like zip lines. Some people love the beach. Some love to snorkel. Like, who do you want to go do those things? Because the beautiful part about the supplement industry, in essence, is
to me, it's supplement, right?
But it's consumable. It's a consumable product, which allows these type of opportunities to travel the world with people that you care about and that you're doing business with, who are equally yoked, who want the same freedoms, who are entrepreneurial, who have a heart for helping people. And so, I saw Todd and Shannon's picture. I mean, we like jumping off rocks
and walking the beaches.
So.
Yeah, and I think that really does set the tone for understanding what to look for. Because sometimes it's like I have my phone, I can go through my list and I've got hundreds of people on here. But I think as we're trying to sort it, we're looking through it, who would I want to jump off a rock with, or who do I want to go do some jet skiing with, or skydiving with, or whoever, depending on what they're open to, So I do love that. And I think, it's in the relationship that the love, trust, and respect, and the more that they love, trust, and respect you, sometimes the quicker you can actually get to the topic, because they already do that, whereas someone maybe you haven't seen in a long time, you build that a little bit more. And so it's not just I'll take a step back. I love the fact that you actually bring up that you have something you want to share with them, but then get into the actual personal side of it, because it can feel awkward for a lot of people if they're just jumping into getting to know them, and then at the end, oh, and by the way, and then it feels kind of a little bit like forced, or a little bit awkward, in that end, and they're going, is that all the only reason why you called me?
Right.
If it's up front, but you're sincere in getting kind of reconnected with them, then they, like you say, they're going to be the ones more than likely to bring it up at the end. Oh, what was it you wanted to share with me? They're going to want to know. So, and the other thing, sometimes you mentioned too, you said sometimes if they say no 3 times or whatever, or they say, call me back in 3 months, I'll continually drip on them, but I'll make sure I follow up. And one of the things that someone said to me once was, if you really care about the person, you'll follow up because they're expecting it, because you said you would. And if you choose not to because you're like, oh, they're probably not interested anyway, so I'm not going to follow up, it just shows your lack of care for that person because they're expecting it, and so I that's something I was thinking I was helping them out by not following up, but the reality is you're potentially hurting the relationship if you don't. So
and just for those folks who still feel like they're hearing a rejection, I just want to say this. It comes down to, hey, would you watch a video for me? Would you go to this website? Would you read this? And then it's all off of you, because it's super hard for people to try and explain everything. Like, we don't want to explain everything. Like, even in older businesses where it's all about your upline call. We want that upline communication to come about 2, 4, 5 steps in, really. Let the video work, let the app work, let the videos work, let the systems, because systems are duplicatable.
Yeah.
People are not duplicatable. And that's something. So if anyone here is struggling with that rejection, I would say you probably just jot this down. Don't be the process, guide through the process. That a lot of people try to be the process. They want to be the one. Listen, we have a good health and wellness background, and we end up going too much, where it's like, let me just put it into process, move people through the funnel. And so if anyone's struggling with that, I really encourage you that don't be the process, guide people through the process.
Yeah, the system.
I love that. So one of the things too that I think is important, this has been such a great conversation. I just realized we're almost 50 minutes into this, and I feel like we're just getting started, and there's so much more we could discuss. But one thing I think might be helpful for those who are on here today is, how do you distinguish between when objections can be overcome versus objections that they're just not interested, or maybe I need to move on? How do you kind of distinguish? Do you have a kind of a way you determine that? You did kind of mention a few things earlier, but anything else you want to add to that?
It does come back to it, and we'd love to leave a couple minutes at the end if we could leave. I know we're getting close for some Q&A. We'd love to be able to answer. I know people are putting some comments, and Mia, go ahead and
it's really just delving into like what those questions are that they have, and what those, say what somebody would consider an objection, because it's never an objection to me. Like, if they need to speak to their wife or they need to speak to their husband, I get that. If they do finances together, yeah, absolutely. But what I usually say is, hey, listen, I know you want to speak to your husband about it, but is that the real reason? I ask that, is that the real reason, or is it just not the right time for you? And then I'll say the same thing. Listen, if you definitely want to bring this to your husband, let me do it with you, because what I shared with you today, you're not going to be able to duplicate to him. And it's probably going to end up with a no from him, because he doesn't know enough either. So, I always try to interject myself in that conversation as well, because I want to help them, again, see the possibilities of what it could be for them. Now, listen, it not necessarily brand partner all the time. Sometimes it's just customer. We are incredible customer acquisition people. Even in our business, in the last year, we've had 15 people go from a preferred customer or a PC Plus to a brand partner because I didn't push, I didn't convince them. What I did is I allowed this to do the convincing. I said, put this on and listen, you can always upgrade to brand partner. If you're not ready to do the business, you have a PC Plus account, you can share your link, all that good stuff. But I don't push or convince. Just let them go through the process.
Yes.
Timing is right for somebody. Just keep loving on them. And really, that's kind of what it comes down to. Just trying to find out, what the real reason is.
Yep.
Really, it's just asking a bunch of questions.
He or she who asks the most questions wins.
Yeah. Again, it comes back to that asking the right questions, and I love the ones you just gave us too, because I think they really are great questions to be asking. Is that really the issue? And that's where you can kind of dig down into how serious are they? Maybe I need to, again, not necessarily cut them loose, but throw them back in the river. As you said earlier.
Yeah.
And such
truly
great
truly marry the process, not just dabble in the process. We marry the process.
Yeah.
So like you said, Garrett,
we get people engaged.
it goes right back.
That's why we use that word engaged.
Enrolled, to engage, to marry.
Right. And then you marry that process because like Rich just said, you get people within that process. Then, okay, now we've got it. Now, okay, now here are the steps that we have a big tracking chart that we work with people. Okay, predictability, you hit all these steps, you're engaged in the process, right?
Yep.
It happens. And I did want to share something, system. Okay, that's what I just showed you, that sheet. We have a system. It's a system that we've been using because one of our uplines said, personalities do not duplicate, but systems do. So we have a system and process because people can't duplicate Rich or I, or duplicate you, Garrett, or Todd and Shannon, or Tony, or whoever's on our team, right? So we just know that we can put them in the system that works.
Yep.
Because they're not going to duplicate us, but they can duplicate the system. And we have that, and we have a system, and we follow.
Yep.
And
everyone does.
Sorry, go ahead.
I was just saying everyone does, whether you realize it or not, but I'll just take a moment and then I'd love to move forward just to define your system, analyze what is it, what are the steps? What are the steps that you do? And then you can just continue to follow through,
Yeah. So this is kind of the system. You share with people, you follow up, you invite. And then guess what? If they don't go to the webinar or whatever, you share with them again, you keep dripping on them, you keep following up with them, and it's just over and over and over. That's all we do.
Yep.
I love that. And, and I think that the key to it is, and this is an acronym that everyone's heard of multiple times, keep it simple. I'll keep the last S off there, but keep it simple because the system is simple. And when we're bringing some through the process, it's not like, hey, now we built this rapport, they want to know a little bit more. I'm going to go ahead and just dump every ounce of knowledge I have on them. I'm going to share a video with them. Yes. And that's the process that really helps us. Excuse me. So let's go through a few questions that we have from people here.
That would be great. And we have 99 plus.
I've had a little bit of a cough the last few days. I've been really good this whole time until all of a sudden at the end, it's now catching me.
Of course.
Okay. So what can you, there's two questions I have up here. What can you tell people that want to know what's in the patch? I think that's kind of an interesting question.
And I'm going to touch base on that too. A lot of this, like I answered with one of our distributors the other day, he's in the wellness space. I said, hopefully our system answers all these questions, right? So whatever the training modules are that do this, watching the videos. So we want to, when we get those type of questions, we just want to point them to video. We want to point them to something within that, because we don't want to be, if we're the one answering all the questions, we'll never be able to duplicate that. Right. So Mia, I'll let you handle on the technical side, and then we'll... No,
I just tell people there's organic nanocrystals in it. They're made of basically what your body is made up of: amino acids, sugar, salts. And so there, again, there's no medication in it,
Yep.
you know, so we just know that if somebody says, you know, I need to know more, that's great. Well, here, let me show you. I'm going to send you the what is phototherapy video, or I'm going to
Yes.
send you what about the X39 video, or I might even send them to a link on YouTube that has David Schmidt talking about what, you know, how he made the patches and how they're created. Because I don't need to be the expert. Like Rich said, I don't want to be the expert. I've been the expert for a lot of years. I'd rather just say, hey, listen, that is a great question. That's one of the things that we say all the time. That's a great question. I definitely know how you
Here's
feel,
where you'll
but
find
this
it.
is where, let me show you where I found that information, or this is what I found through my experience or through a story. I'll share a story. So, but yeah, so I don't need to be the expert to send them, you know, back to the app and stuff. And, you know, I'll give them that little bit, but yeah.
Love that. So again, it's keep it simple. You know, there's nothing about that that needs to be overly difficult. Like what's in, because at first, when I first heard of the patches, I assumed something had to be on them, you know, that was going to absorb into the body, but it's not, you know, and so helping them kind of understand that. Okay, there's another one, and this is specifically about a specific objection. It says, what do you say to people who say it's too expensive when you know that it may be, but that when you know that they should be able to afford it?
That's a really good one. Usually, there's two answers to that question. So when somebody says it's too expensive, you're hearing their money problems right away. Okay. So to me, I always say, listen, I know that, like, to me, the value is there. The value is there at $149.
Yeah.
So what I'm going to kind of branch to is, listen, there's a great business opportunity in this as well, because it sounds like you could use some income as well.
Yeah.
So, and I'm from the Northeast, so we don't sugarcoat anything. We really just kind of tell it like it is, because people need to hear that there's an opportunity. And I'm going to use this example. Back in 2010, we had invested very heavily in real estate, and you know what happened in 2008, 9, 10, whatever. So we had no money. We were bankrupt, actually. We had to file bankruptcy on our business and stuff. We lost our home. We lost everything. We had to transfer to a rental property. With that said, my girlfriend Jody reached out to me with an opportunity in direct sales back then. And I couldn't afford the products. This happens to a lot of people. The products were great. I understood that. She said the products are great, wonderful. And I believed her, I trust her, I respect her, but I didn't have the money. So she said, there is a great lucrative business opportunity with it. I was like, that's what I need.
I can afford that.
I can afford that. Right. But so when somebody says it's too expensive, they're just saying, they're basically telling you they need money.
Right.
Right. So I just turn it on them and say, well, it sounds like you need some income. And to me, like, really, I mean, the value is there. Like, the value is way more than what, you're paying for it.
Exactly. And again, I'm evaluating. Did I tell you that we're in the sorting business? And so, my initial response is, well, first of all, I want to know, did they use the patches and did they use the product? Because if they're looking at it without not even trying it, then that's a whole different story. Because the fact of the matter is that there's zero risk, because we have a 90-day money back guarantee. I believe it's international. So from a customer standpoint, there's a 90-day money back guarantee. So this is too expensive. Well, you know what? Let's do a trial. 30, 60, 90 days, there's no risk for you. Then let's see how you feel and let you evaluate, weigh out the cost and the expense to the benefit. We're always comparing the cost to the benefit. A good friend of ours called today. She's having sleeping issues. 3 weeks in, cautiously optimistic. Finally, she says, you know what? I got to admit, this is working. I haven't slept like this in 10 years. And whatever the price is, it's worth it for me to get this much sleep. So I think the key to answer the question, make sure that they've used the product first. Zero risk, 90-day money back guarantee. When we eliminate risk, we increase value. That's worth writing down.
So my last comment on that is, this is $3.33. This is the X39. Okay, I'm talking about $3.33 a day. Somebody goes to Starbucks, they're spending $5. We used to call Starbucks $5. Okay, you spend at least $5 in Starbucks, or you get your nails done. Stop getting your nails done. They're not gonna help you with your health. So this is more important for you to have on your body. You can find the money when they know what is going to happen to them. They'll find it. So that's another whole other thing. Yeah.
That's exactly right. And when it comes to that objection in particular, Someone once said to me, what we value, we'll find money for, right? So if for whatever reason they don't value it in this moment, it could be a couple of things. One is they don't value themselves. That's a deeper issue that we don't have time to get into today. But also, but maybe they just don't know enough and understand what the value truly is. And so, exactly what you were saying, helping them see and keeping them in the funnel, getting them the information that they need so that they can continue to move along that process. Well, we are at the top of the hour. Any last comments you want to make before we tie this up?
I'll start and you can finish. Okay. I just want to say we're grateful to be here. We hope that this served some people today, and we know that when we serve others, we get served. And I hope that everyone, like Mia said, go out there knowing that you're going to help people. It eliminates a lot of that pressure. It eliminates any of that fear that we know we really have something. And as we said in the beginning, it's just our personal experience, 30 plus years in the wellness space. To us, this is the biggest wellness breakthrough that we've ever seen, and we've experienced a lot. And so I just want to encourage everyone, keep going forward, share people, develop your system of follow-up, and then a duplicatable system, and keep loving on people, and share your story and change lives. And it touches my heart right here to be doing this. This is it's an emotional thing, it's an emotional thing to be able to know that you're serving. Look, hopefully we're serving 330 people here, and then this is going to be in other countries. And so we're all blessed to be able to have this. This is an opportunity like we've never seen before. And so again, I'm just going to express gratitude and thanks. And I hope that this helped some folks move things forward.
Yeah, and I just ditto everything Rich said. And because we were praying for an opportunity over the last 5 years, and I'm just going to share this at the end. We lost our son. Our son was killed 5 years ago, and we've been through a valley experience. And it's not what happened to us that matters. It's what we're doing with what happened to us. So we know we can serve so many more people. We say all good and bad works together for good. If you're not of faith, it's okay, but that's how we feel. And we know that if somebody's why, our why is to spend time with our 2 children that are here with us, that are 18 and 21. We want to spend more time with them. We want to travel with them, and having time freedom costs money.
Yeah.
And so we know that if our why is our children, if our why is strong enough, the how is easy. That's what we say to people. We'll teach you that. If you have a heart for helping people, we'll teach you the how to do it. You just need to flip the switch and make that decision. And so we're just so grateful, Garrett, to LifeWave, to David Schmidt, to the entire corporate staff, that we just feel so honored and so blessed. And we just love our team as well. And if you're on our team and you're watching, we love you guys. Yeah. And we'll see you on our next webinar.
Love it. Well, Mia and Rich, thank you so much for the time that you put into it, and you've invested in us today. I hope everyone feels what I have felt, and just that amazing energy and knowledge and understanding that's come to us, so that we can then use this to help us move our businesses forward in that. And so you really wrapped it up perfectly. I don't really have much more to add to that, other than just thanks everyone for being on with us today. And we look forward to catching up with all of you next month.
All right.
See everyone. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks all.